afraid you're gonna fall off. So I'm afraid of that. Okay, Ruby.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Screen Time, Episode 4. I'm your host, Jessica Egley, and I'm here with a little pre-show announcement. As this is an event that invites members of the audience to interact directly with me and our guests, I ask that everyone here help me make this a safe and comfortable space by exercising kindness and respect at all times. And since this is an unrated live event, the views expressed may not be those of the Englert Theater, and there's always the potential for mature language. So, thank you and enjoy the show. So I usually start my shows with a little intro monologue. I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. As you know, or as you will find out, what I do here is I interview people from our community and from Iowa about how they got through the pandemic, with professionally, with their art. I talk to them about their experience. And when I think about my own journey over the past year, I always come back to one thing, which was like the mantra in my head saying, count your blessings. Because no matter how hard things got and no matter how difficult a day became, and there were some crazy difficult days, as you know, I always had something to be thankful for. And that is really what helped me, believe that a better day was coming. And here we are, kind of on the brink of better days, maybe experiencing better days already. And so throughout this time, there's just been a song that's kind of been stuck in my head that just aligns with this, feeling, this idea of being thankful and looking for brighter days. And so I'm going to sing you a song. Yes. So the tech of this we worked earlier, so it's going to work right now. I'm sure my mother is happy. So first, I just want to give a quick shout out to Ruben Reyes, Piano on YouTube, whose instrumental cover of this song will be accompanying me. Here I go. What does it matter if rain comes your way and raindrops patter along? The rain descending should not make you blue. A happy ending is waiting for you. Take your share of troubles, take them and don't complain. If you want the rainbow, you must have the rain. Happiness comes double after a little pain. If you want the rainbow, you must have the rain. What if your love affair should break up, as they sometimes will? Yeah, no kidding. What could you expect from locking people into their homes for an entire year, during which there is a national disaster, an Iowa winter, and a toilet paper shortage? Okay, I will consider it a victory if I come out on the other side of this as happy as Bert and Ernie. When you kiss and make up, boy, what a thrill. Sadness ends in gladness, showers are I'll second that one because they certainly weren't frequent. COVID, do you realize what you've done to our personal hygiene? Very good at washing hands, not so much at washing hair. If you want a rainbow, you must have the rain. Look for brighter weather, watch for the sun again. If you want the rainbow, you must have the rain. Pull yourself together. Put some pants on already. Whistle a happy strain. If you want the rainbow, you must have the rain. But if your lucky star deserts you. Lucky stars, a product of Amazon, I'm assuming? And if shadows fall, even though it hurts you, laugh through it all. Be a cheerful loser. You have the world to gain. If you want the rainbow, why, you just must have the rain. Anything's better than a derecho, am I right? And that is now a thing I've done on TV. Yes, I'm calling this TV. Anyway, today we are here to talk about summer programming, and my first guests are Christopher Hunter. He is an Iowa native, born in Mason City and graduated from Lynn Mar in 2009. He graduated with a BFA in photography, a minor in art history, and a certificate of entrepreneurship from the University of Iowa. He has called Iowa City home for the past 12 years. After contributing to the Iowa City Downtown District as a freelance photographer since 2013, he joined the team full-time in 2017 and is now the director of special events. In his free time, he continues his passion with photography while enjoying live music, theater, art, and supporting local businesses. He is the proud plant dad of over a dozen houseplants with no sign of slowing down anytime soon. Andrea Truitt is the Community Relations Manager at Summer of the Arts, a nonprofit that produces 8 events through the year, focusing on music, visual art, and movies. Trained as an art and architectural historian, she's assumed for about 7 years that she would become a professor, but realized that just was not her jam. So she is a member of the City of Iowa City Public Art Advisory Committee. Sorry, that was a mouthful. And is old but spunky. No, that's not true. I just skipped a line. She's not old but spunky. She's young and lovely. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Andrea. She is a member of the City of Iowa City Public Art Advisory Committee and is becoming more involved with National History Day. There we go. She lives with her partner, Matt, and dog, Molly. Molly is old but spunky, and they can be seen around town with a blue plaid stroller, a cheesy grin, Andrea, and a skeptical look about being in the stroller, Molly, on their respective faces. Andrea has also taken a recent shine to graffiti. Now, let's give them a warm welcome. Let me add Christopher. Hello, Andrea. I'm so sorry for that slip up. Oh, you're both muted. I'm going to have you unmute yourselves if you can. There we go. Okay, well, here we are. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to talk to you both because Ordinarily, my show really focuses on what happened in the past, how people dealt with the pandemic and their art and their professions. But and we'll talk about that. But I also am really excited to talk about what people can expect from the programming that we've grown to love here in Iowa City that we didn't get the same version of last year, if anything at all. So first of all, I just want to let you each have a moment to talk just a little bit more about your specific roles at your organizations and what your organizations do. So Andrea, I'll start with you.
Sure. So as community relations manager, I have to admit that it's expanding and kind of growing and a little bit nebulous. When I started with Summer of the Arts in 2018, I was a part-time employee. And so my job was very much focused on volunteer management. And so actually at the beginning of 2020, I became a full-time employee with Summer of the Arts, and then sort of COVID hit. So community relations is still kind of nebulous, and we'll be figuring that out as we kind of change up and kind of get into our strategic planning that's happening in late summer and fall. But so it's kind of, how do we put it? So I guess my 4 keywords are volunteers, the interns, which I do call babies just because I love them, not because it's an insult, but I'm like, my interns and my babies. Grant writing, and then this sort of more external community relations management kind of position, which is really figuring out what kind of organizations and what kind of groups and individuals we should be partnering with, both in terms of how do we enhance our programming that we have, but then also figuring out what kind of new, juicy, I want to say sexy, but we're family friendly, kind of really awesome stuff that might come up, because arts access is sexy, arts programming is sexy all the time, all of it. So
did you just see my song? I mean,
I know, which by the way, the whole time I wanted like a top hat and to kind of a little more ragtime, but
oh, Christopher, what are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for having us on here. I'm the director of special events at the Iowa City Downtown District. Come this August, I'll have been here for 4 years full time. But as you said, I've been kind of a part with the Downtown District since 2013, taking photographs at all the events. So I've been pretty familiar with them throughout over the years. But now that I get a hand at planning the events myself, it's nice to look into how everything happens in Iowa City. The Downtown District, we work with all the business owners and property owners in downtown in our district. So we do anything to help bring the community downtown, get foot traffic in the streets, and support our local businesses. We do a whole bunch of public art opportunities as well for local artists and bringing more art downtown.
Awesome. Yes, I love the art downtown, the murals, the benches, the picnic tables, all of it. It's so colorful.
Yes.
So I have a few questions for both of you, since that just makes sense to ask both of you. So we're just going to kind of have a conversation. I do want to hear about how things went for you last year. How, I guess maybe just like a highlight, or if it's a highlight or a low light, or just something significant, a challenge that you faced last year and figured out how to get around. Andrea?
Sure. Well, this might be a good time to cue the photos.
Aha, cue photos, please.
You would please?
Thank you.
Right. So as I hope all of you all know, but maybe not, Summer of the Arts produces a lot of stuff downtown. And so we produce the Arts Festival, the Iowa Arts Festival, the Iowa City Jazz Festival, and the Soul and Blues Festival. We do the Friday night concert series, the free movie series, and we've taken on a couple of new things as well. But we're used to having, you know, like 12 weeks of super banging wild, very intense times here in the office and putting on large scale programming and then sort of smaller weekly programming. So for COVID, it just sort of stopped us dead for a little bit of trying to figure out, could we have anything? Oh, and then there was that sort of early period of and all that weird denial, not knowing like, oh, things will be fine, you know, things will be fine by June, you know, but maybe not. Right. And then we got to a point where no, we really had to sort of cancel and sort of stop things. And then really, I feel like there was a big deafening silence with the office, because that is not our norm. We are always gearing up, and summer is a huge, huge time for us. And so I feel like it sort of stopped us in our tracks a little bit for a while. And then once we sort of figured out, oh, this pandemic is going on a while, we will not have a normal summer or anything really close to it, then it was really figuring out what could we do with the very large, constraints of a pandemic happening. And so so we did a couple of things. Most of it was, I'll start with the first thing. So our super duper awesome new kind of thing, which you're seeing, was a truckload of soul. So local beloved musician Kevin Burt, which you will see guitar in hand at the mic, came to us and said, I've got this idea. I'd really like to be able to do some sort of live music. It feels really important. And so we organized four evenings, but being basically driving into a neighborhood saying, hey, come out, listen to Kevin. He did about 30 to 45 minutes in a neighborhood, and then would drive to a second neighborhood for that evening and perform as well. And so that was one of our really, 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 really wonderful programs. And we liked it so well that we said, hey, Kevin, I think we want to take this on as permanent programming. And so this year it is Music on the Move. That's kind of its new pretty permanent name, or Mom, as it gets called in the office. It's just like, hey, what's happening with Mom? What neighborhood? But anyway, Music on the Move is our sort of new exciting baby. It feels so right. It felt so good for us to be able to put on live programming and take it out into the neighborhoods. Was really great. So Kevin Burt is we're doing 6 dates, 2 in June, 2 in July, 2 in August. And so Kevin Burt is taking, a June, July, and August date. And then we also have Dave Zolo, another local artist performer, who will be joining us on 3 dates as well. And so that's all on the website now with locations. And so that was that just felt so really good and triumphant. And I have to say, I was very distant from that. And the credit for putting on all of our programming last year was Executive Director Lisa Barnes, and then Production Director Terry Reeve, who just did a really beautiful, magnificent job. I was out. My mom had surgery that did not go well at all, which was a very extended hospital stay. And so I was out of town for actually our entire season dealing with that. And so there's a little bit of distance for me from that. So, but anyway, so Music on the Move now, formerly known as A Truckload of Soul, was really good. It felt really right. We are keeping it around and sort of very excited to see how it looks this year.
I love that idea so much. One of the challenges that we are trying to tackle at the Angler as well is how to get programming out beyond our walls, out into, bigger space. And that's just such a just efficient. It's so efficient. I love it. It's just like low key, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What's next on the slideshow for you?
So I'll talk about that in a sec, but I just want to say, to keep it clean, I think Music on the Move is effing awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope you all will as well. So our other way that we kind of got around having programming was to do pre-recorded sessions that we played on Facebook Live, Facebook events and I have to say that when I was in Indiana dealing with my mom, the online programming was really a lifeline for me, and watching weekly and watching the Arts Fest and the Jazz Fest and the Soul and Blues Fest. So what was kind of great is that, we had to improvise a lot. And so this is kind of the next 3 photographs are of the different ways in which we did that. So this is our conference room at our office. And so we had some of our performers come in and record there. We used meeting room A for a lot of our Arts Fest stuff at the Iowa City Public Library. And then we also went to the City of Hills and they allowed us to use their beautiful band shell. And so it was really, really nice to figure out, you know, how are we going to do this? Okay, we've got a plan. We're going to record these. And then figuring out what and who would work in what spaces and what spaces were available. So it was kind of started out with, yeah, we'll do this in meeting room A. And then the library was like, no outside groups at all. Right. And so then it's like, all right, well, where else are we going to go? And so we did some in the office and then headed down to Hills. So
cool.
Yeah. And we had some other venues too for the festivals, but
Oh, okay. So is that another?
Yes, this is meeting room A.
Yeah.
That beauty, that beautiful community beauty of a room. And then the City of Hills band shell.
Perfect. Christopher, do you have photos in this slideshow is this from last year?
Yes, correct. It is.
Yeah, why don't we just move on to you talking about last year a little bit?
So I guess when you could say the pandemic first hit, we all were told to work from home, go home, businesses shut down. It was just like a shock to everyone. No one kind of knew what to do right away. A lot of people had questions. Businesses, the community members, myself included. So one of the first things that the Downtown District did is we worked with other area organizations and formed Project Better Together. And the Iowa City, the Iowa City Area Business Partnership and the ICAD Development Group were all part of that. And I thought that was just a great resource. We wanted to help answer questions and kind of field some people in ways that they could support local businesses. So we hosted webinars with city officials and other local leaders about hot topics where like, what is staffing happening like with the businesses, or like where can people apply for grants and stuff like that. And we did other programs like local incentivized spending. So if people spent so much money at a local shop in Johnson County or a restaurant, they could turn in their receipts and we would give them, what was that? Downtown District gift card right away. At first we did it with just downtown, and we expanded it to all of Johnson County. So it was just kind of crazy to see all of the community focus in on that campaign and support local and all the submissions that would come in. I mean, there was great amounts. I would be checking receipts and sending out gift cards daily. So it was just kind of fun to see everyone come together and support in that sense. In terms of Downtown District, I'm the director of special events. So I do work with a lot of events, and people are wondering, are events still happening? What are we doing? Things are changing so fast. So a couple different takes. You kind of would think maybe we would do less events during the year of the pandemic, but I think we actually did more events.
Right? That's, common story, actually.
One of our popular models was putting things in a box, you could say. So this was an Oktoberfest model. Typically, it's a sampling event in person on the streets on the north side. And this one, we found a great way to still incorporate all the businesses, all the local breweries, and provide an at-home experience people could enjoy at home, and maybe show us how they're having a good time at home with this box. It sold out within days or maybe a couple of weeks. I can't remember exactly, but it went really fast, and we sold like 600 total. And we are keeping the same aspect for this year because it was so popular.
Cool.
We have put tickets on sale for Oktoberfest for this year. There's a part in-person festival while also still holding the Oktoberfest in a box model. So I can maybe touch point on that later, or if you reach out. But that was one of the examples that we did. If you go to the next slide, we partnered with local literature organizations and bookstores to do a One Book, Two Book Festival in a box. That went really well too. During the pandemic, the Downtown District added a delivery service to help with the retail stores. So I did a lot of personal deliveries to people's stores and take their orders. And that was just an interesting experience that I've never done before. I never thought I'd be a delivery driver, but I said, it got me out of the office, a lot of tunes in the car, and just helping businesses and customers get their orders. This is one that we delivered. Any box that was ordered, we delivered to their door right away. So
cool. What service.
Here's another box model that we did. It was Top Chef, and We also partnered with Mission Creek for their festival to help support their partners who are typically part of that festival. And it was basically take the ingredients home or a pre-cooked, pre-made meal and then heat it up and enjoy at home. So it was very popular. Top Chef, that sold out right away in that first day within 8 hours. So that was very popular.
Wow.
We had a lot of people involved with that as well. And we heard great things. If you look through the photos on the menu, I don't know if they gave them to you, but the food was delicious.
I'm sure it was.
Absolutely.
Is this from last year as well?
Yes, this is last year as well during the holidays. So people kind of wondered, typically we have Santa in the film scene. We do a horse-drawn trolley ride, but all of those, we were trying to be COVID conscious and like, what are ways we can incorporate this to maybe make it safer for the public? So we moved Santa outside, and lucky for us, the weather was perfect all of December, besides maybe one day, but kids could come up and be distant from Santa. Their parents could be distant and take photos of the kids as they were there. So people could just stop throughout the day on a Saturday and take free photos with Santa. I was there and people felt comfortable. I could take photos for them or just help guide them. And we had a great turnout for a pandemic year, I'd say. Following that one, we have more holiday slides. We had our pop-up shops. So those have been, I think this is the third year that those have been in Blackhawk Mini Park. And those were just rotating different stores. Kind of the same they've always been, but they just have capacity limits. So during the pandemic, a lot of the retailers just had set capacity limits to make customers feel safe as they shop throughout the season. And then instead of the horse-drawn trolley ride, we did an open air tractor wagon ride. So that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I already talked about delivery a little bit, but that's our car. We've partnered with Toyota of Iowa City, so a big thank you to them and Midwest One as well.
Heck yes.
Our delivery program is still running. It was so nice and the retailers loved it and the customers. So we are still doing that to this day and I don't see any sign of stopping. So anyone can if they orders online, via phone, they can request them to be delivered. I think it's only here within the Iowa City area though. Originally we did deliver to Cedar Rapids and had quite a few deliveries there.
It's interesting how much stuff, like when people had to pivot and they had learned how to do things differently, how much of that new stuff is probably going to stay as part of their world, like the boxes and the deliveries. Like for us, I'm sure digital programming is not going to go away. So yeah.
Learning curve for all of us. It helped us incorporate new ideas into our events and just some of our programming that we normally do. So, I mean, there were a couple good things that came out of it, I'd say, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like for some of the arts, honestly, it gave us sort of time to think, and because usually from January really through usually through the beginning of August on our usual schedule, it's balls to the wall. And it's all focused on the summer. And so having to take a break was really weird for us, but at the same time, really freeing to kind of think of, well, what would this event look like if these things were combined, or if we did it this way? And so that felt really good, I think, internally. And then we also, just given the way our resources were used differently, because we didn't have the festivals, we were able to invest in some really not sexy, very behind the scenes kind of programs and software, which, I'm just like, yeah, I'm really excited and I think it's sexy and great, but it's not really that visible to the public. But I think it's really interesting, the sort of thoughts and the ideas that have been generating, and it's really sort of nice that we're having a strategic planning year as well, and really great conversations as staff. So it's been this sort of like, oh man, this has really been generative and really great. So
yeah, I can staff bonding was such a thing because we had to work together so tightly. I'm sure you both experienced that as well. Yeah. Christopher, are we now on to upcoming stuff, or is this like the books in the window thing?
So we have two more from that can happen.
Okay.
So this was a brand new event that we just did last month in April, and I thought it was fantastic. It's this downtown story walk, and a whole bunch of communities across the nation do it. I think it was founded by someone, her name's Anne, she's from, I'm blanking on the state real quick, but she did it with her library, and people display windows and kids can come out and read the story through the storefront window. So I thought it was a perfect transition to give families and kids something to do while doing it outside at a safe distance. So they could like walk around from store to store and read the book. And then I had like little fill in the blanks, like what word was missing or what they could find hidden on each page, little clues. And a good amount of people turned it in, and they loved that it was continuing or that we had something for them. And I think there's a permanent book walk happening in one of the parks in Iowa City. I'm blanking on what park that is.
Cool.
Happening in the next couple of months or so. And we have plans to continue this event for sure in the future.
Great. Awesome. Thanks. Here we go.
This is just what we did during the pandemic through the winter and through the spring and summer, was just provide additional seating to the area. And that was just to like get people outside, make them feel comfortable. They could take a bite to eat, go shopping, sit down, and just still enjoy downtown during this whole crazy time. This also provided a public art opportunity. So we have new paintings on all the picnic tables, and we have new artists that are going out right now and painting everything as well. This slide here is one of our shopping events that we did. We do sidewalk sales, and that's all done from the side. We added additional events like that throughout the summer and the spring and the fall. And right now we're doing a shop crawl, and that's happening actually this Saturday. And we've done things like take the attendance down to make people feel safe and just kind of limit capacities and everything in that sense.
Yeah. On that note, actually, can we jump out of the slideshow for just a moment? I want to talk a little bit about, I want to hear about your upcoming programming as well. We might have to do like a quick fire session of it. This hour goes by so fast. We're in this gray period now kind of COVID, where a lot of people are vaccinated, but not everyone is. Not all age groups are able to be vaccinated yet. People are starting to feel more comfortable. The CDC is saying, that things about people who are vaccinated can be unmasked together, and the mask mandates in Iowa City was lifted. But I know that people are still they're still nervous. Some people are, and I'm sure they're curious how safety precautions are going to continue through the summer. So can you talk a little bit about the conversations you've had in your organizations about meeting the people where they're at with COVID, and also making sure you're just doing the right thing to keep people safe?
Sure. One of the big things we decided in March with coming up with our 2021 programming is what we would keep virtual, and then what would be the point at which we would transition into in-person programming. And so for May and June, all of our Friday night concerts will be on Facebook again, 6:30. Go to our Facebook page. And then we are having continuing our drive-in movies, which I realized I didn't have a photograph of from last year, but that was also one of the things where we're switching up the free movie series with some of our drive-ins, and we're also partnering with Film Scenes. So doing things, so having the virtual Friday night concert series in May and June. We've got some movies where you can be socially distanced and outside as well. And then really for us, it was speaking, and by us, I mean Terry, our operations director, who has been in really, really consistent communication with Johnson County Emergency Management Services to figure out and talk to them about what would be a good time to start having our larger events. And so that's when we decided, okay, our first large event will be, we'll start with the Jazz Fest this year, and then sort of moving our largest event, the Iowa Arts Festival, into mid-August. And so then we've kind of been trying to think through COVID protocol with volunteers, and that has sort of, we had something, and now it's kind of like, oh, hey, based on new guidelines, looks like we're going to have to readjust. So that's kind of, it's going to look one way for this kind of festival, you can't really require anything, but it's strongly encouraged, and things will look a little bit different as we kind of move through the season.
Yeah, I really appreciate like I think communication with the people who attend your events is probably the most important thing. And I love that you're like being thoughtful enough to offer options, because if people are not ready to go out in public, they can watch Friday Night Concert Series at home. And if they still want to be distanced and feel like everyone else is going to do the same, a movie's a good option. And if they're cool with walking around near people, then they'll attend one of the festivals. So options is great. Christopher, what about Iowa City Downtown District?
Like Andrea said, we're constantly looking at like the recommendations and like what maybe the CDC is suggesting. And we do have Johnson County Public Health on a couple of our committees for a lot of our larger scale events. So we are definitely getting their input on what they recommend on how we can better the event and make it continue in a safe way. So that's been reassuring just to hear their opinions and their ideas. For some of our spring and kind of early summer events, we're kind of keeping them the same as we have throughout the COVID season. So that is maybe moving it to a Saturday and extending the hours of the event so people can casually go throughout the whole day instead of during a limited time. We're taking that, if it's ticketed, maybe like down in attendance so there's a less big group of people too. And that seems to have worked well. I mean, I've talked to people as they came in and checked in at like the hot cocoa call and everything. And we typically send surveys out to our attendees to get their feelings on like what they thought of the new model and suggestions that they have themselves.
Yeah, great. So it seems like we're all on the same page when it comes to communication. We just adapt as we learn new information, and we hear people out so that we can accommodate everyone if we can. I'm going to give you two a quick break, and I'm going to bring in another guest, and I will bring you back in at the end of the show, and we will talk. I'll let you plug all the upcoming stuff. I'm excited to hear what's coming up. So I will talk to y'all later. And now I'm introducing a segment I'm calling Iowan Teaching Artist Spotlight. That was supposed to sound like chalk on a chalkboard. I'm not sure if it did. But hi, Ramona.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So here with me today, I have Ramona Muse Lambert, who is a friend of mine. I'm going to say a dear friend of mine, and we grew up together. So I'm very super excited that you agreed to be here, and also I just feel really cool that I get to say I'm your friend.
Yeah, we ran in the same granola child circle.
Yeah, we did.
It was a good one.
It was. We didn't have screens, so we got to play outside and get dirty and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so I could read your bio, or I could just let you talk a little bit about yourself too. People could read your bio on this, so I'm gonna let you talk about yourself. Who are you?
I am an artist, and I'm a teacher. So I am in a band, and I paint family portraits, and I do a lot of different things. But the pandemic kind of rocked the world in my house. I used to teach summer programming at I always forget what it's called. Willowwind. Willowwind, yeah.
Yeah.
So all those kids, I think, are driving cars now, which is pretty surreal. But I taught them to sew when they're about 4 years old, which was wild. Especially now that I have a 5-year-old, I'm like, how did I do this with 10 of them? I don't know. I think it's that 20-year-old stamina.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, so I'm in a band, but we haven't played, and I hosted pub quizzes as a side income. I used to host it at the Mill, and then I moved to it started at the Mill, and then I moved to Des Moines, so I did it at a bar here. I just did a lot of things out in the community, and then I was teaching at the art center. What's that?
Should we bring up your slideshow? I feel like
let's just talk about that. So
let's do that.
Maybe I'll just talk you through that.
Okay.
So this is just a still from one of the music videos of my band. So I drew the background, I made the video, all of it, and I've taught some teen video making classes, but I don't really know what I'm doing, but I still do it. But you know, I can teach. I think they all know how to do it on TikTok by now, but like, you know, 6 years ago, before anybody knew it, I was showing them how to do it on confusing programming. So anyways, go to the next one. So that's my husband behind me, and we met in the band Leslie and the Lies. 9 years ago, we fell in love on a tour and then ran away together. So this is the last event we threw together. It was a Valentine's show at the Vaudeville Muse in Des Moines. And we had all these musicians from town sing a song, and we set up like a cover band. So they were covering love songs. And this was the finale, but it was so fun. So we really like figured it out. We had all this stuff going on, and then you can go to the next one. So we weren't sure what to do. And then my husband was like, we should start doing Zoom games about a week into the pandemic. He's like, you need to cheer people up because you're good at that, which is really sweet of him to think I could. But so this was our Halloween quiz. So we were doing like, we essentially transferred, we started with bingo online, and then we went to the hosting like a pub quiz style game. So a lot of times people from all over the country in different windows were on the same team. So they're like texting each other answers. So it, especially in the deep, dark isolation part of the pandemic, it was really fun. And it was paying our bills because people were tipping us. So my husband lost his job because he was managing a small music venue, the Vaudeville Muse, and which has since closed. They just decided, I mean, they were barely making rent. They were barely making rent anyways. So yeah. So you can go to the next one. I can't remember what it is. I'm basically telling you, so we started a podcast because the quiz show was doing well, but now we have a weekly podcast. That's only been a few months, but that's really fun. Because my husband's actually the funnier one, but he's quiet. So so if he has a microphone in his face, I feel like suddenly everybody's realizing, wait, Derek's actually, I mean, everybody knows he's funny, but anyway, he's also he's a drummer and a sound engineer. So it sounds good. So that's nice.
That's good.
I married well. I had no idea how convenient it would be. So you can go to the next one. And we have 2 small kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So that's been pretty intense. He's been watching the kids more, and I've been like hustling. So I also run the kids tent at Hinterland, and so I make an activity book every year. So we ran out 2 years ago because it was canceled last year, but we ran out of books. So this year I'm not going to do the tent because I'm not comfortable with that because kids aren't vaccinated, and I don't think we should. I mean, we all agree.
Hinterland is live and in person this year, correct?
It is, but they have it's really cool. They have essentially blocked off spaces and way fewer people going. So it's going to be pretty incredible if you're there. So what we're planning is like a to-go activity bag for the kids that are there, or for kids that are missing out is my other hope, because I think there are a lot of kids that love the tent and they just get bigger and bigger every year. Obviously, that's how kids work. But I have a feeling a lot of them aren't coming. So I'm trying to plan something good for that. So I'm working on the book, and it gets bigger every year because of the lineup seems to grow. Okay, go to the next one. I think I have a few slides of the activity book.
Okay.
And fun fact, you can keep going through these. My family. So anyways, I got an iPad finally, and it's made things a little easier. So the last one is Exile Beer. I do Exile Beer labels. I've been doing that for 8 years, but they really slowed down during the pandemic. So we were at a little bit of a like, oh buddy, what are we going to do here? Because my husband didn't have a job. And then I got hired by the Gazette to do a weekly, every Monday, they have a kids section, and I do these comics. So that's fun. So I think I have a couple of those here.
Yeah.
So they have like a theme every week, and then I do something with it. So it's just, we're just piecing the income together in my house.
Sure.
This is a Labor Day thing. Yeah. But the iPad's been really fun because I am a paper and pencil person, but
I wondered, I know that some artists have transition is difficult, or I don't
Yeah, no,
know, because it's just different.
yeah, I had to talk to some younger people that helped me figure it out.
Good.
um, yeah, so this was right after the DeRate show. Had I think
Mm-hmm.
this one was about musical instruments, if you can tell.
Yeah.
But I love making puzzles. I mean, in high school, I did a comic every month in my high school paper. So this is kind of a dream job. And so is the beer
Yeah.
labels. So the other thing we've been doing is I have been like making clothes and then selling those. So I I had my friend screen print this coffee guy on the back of this jumpsuit, and then I made it say AM crew because my husband stays up late and cleans the house, and I get up early with the little kids. So I was kind of like the barista life, you know, you got the opening and closing shift. So
Sure,
I
yeah.
sold quite a few of these to moms, but also other people.
I
But I
bet.
was surprised by how many I had. I made some that said night shift too, so that was fun.
I would totally wear that because I am the AM crew in my house. I'm not going to pretend that having dogs is the same as having children because it's not, but I do have to get up with dogs every day.
Yes, no, it's, I mean, the waking you up for food and bathroom, it's
Yeah.
pretty similar correlation there. I'm hungry and I have to use the bathroom, so
Yep.
and then I think this is a sticker I made, and I have stickers on my website. I've just been selling my art slowly. um it's been building.
Cool.
I did family portraits for a while. The family portraits were really fun, but they do stress me out, so
Oh, sure.
because you have to make people look good. I mean, I can do that, but it's a lot of work. And then this is a bandana I had made. And a lot of my stuff is at the White Rabbit. Like Courtney's been super supportive.
Yeah.
And then it's at Raygun too, and at Found and Formed in Cedar Rapids. So
Hey. Oh, I love
yeah,
that
I know.
place. I got my favorite blazer from there.
My best friend Carissa is a co-owner from
I
sixth
know.
grade. She's the
Yeah,
best.
we we played ping pong in my basement at Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. Well, so I ask her a lot of questions, and Courtney, just because they're in the know. So I
Sure,
really
yeah.
appreciate how the community has supported my little family, and it's been a blast.
Yeah. Is that your last slide?
Maybe.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So
Thanks.
I
The
don't know.
slideshow.
I'm sorry, I just rambled, but
No, that's good. All I wanted to do, having you here, is give you a chance to talk about your stuff, and I want people to be able to find your stuff and buy it. So because it's really cool. So yes, so please put your websites in the chat, or say them out loud right now, also because people can watch this again later.
So RamonaMuseLambert.com, and I have a lot of new things coming in about a week. So
cool.
Or at the White Rabbit or Found a Form. So thank you.
Yeah.
And real quick for Art Week Des Moines, in June 19th, we're doing a live Zoom quiz show. So that's all on my website.
Yay! Everybody go to Ramona's website.
Thank you. I'm so impressed and inspired by all of the programming you all are doing in Iowa City. It's really exciting. It's happening here too. I mean, having someone drive around in a truck and play music is just brilliant. Like, we are so cool. People need art, and I'm really impressed by how well everybody's doing at like giving it to them, because you know it's what art is for, is to just help people get through stuff, and they have some stuff to get through right now. So thank you for all of your work, all of you.
Yes, that is a lovely place to transition. Thank you so much, Ramona. I am so happy to have had you here. I'm going to remove your spotlight. Yeah. So speaking of supporting the arts, because artists are smart and arts workers are smart, and we serve a very important function, keeping people happy and engaged. I want to introduce the Englert Theater's development director, Katie Roach. So I'm going to make myself disappear really quick. Can I do that? Nope, never mind. I'm just going to bring her on with me. Here we go.
Hi.
And now I can remove my spotlight. There, you have the spotlight.
Hello.
Hey, floor is yours.
Well, first off, I just have to say I had to change position because behind me is a Ramona Muse.
What? Yeah.
Which I love. It's called Don't Harsh My Mellow. And it's like two kids just dashing through life. Full speed, super colorful.
Thanks,
Yeah, I bought that at a show of yours in Des Moines when I was in town for an Iowa Arts Council event, and I like walked around like just thinking about it, and knew it had to be mine. So thank you for gracing my home with your artwork. So Jessica's having me on because right now is the mid-year appeal for the Englert Theater, and as you know, like all arts organizations, we've been through some really challenging times for these last 15 months, and we've got some really heavy lifting to do in the next couple months. We reduced our staff down to a little over 10 people from about 60 people. And we have to hire a ton of people. We have to try to reinvigorate some of that institutional knowledge, you know, concessions, welcoming people to the theater, taking tickets, production crew. We're just a real skeleton crew right now. And we've been existing off of donations from Friends of the Englert, sponsorships, and a lot of resilience and recovery grants that we've been fortunate enough to win. So if people are interested in helping support the Englert Theater right now, you can go to englert.org/friends. And you can always email me. I'm Katie, Katie, @englert.org. And I'm super happy to talk to anyone about what we, how we're working right now, how we're trying to meet this challenge, this tremendous challenge. And we appreciate any support anyone can give. Friends of the Englert get awesome benefits to our digital programming, merchandise, lots of cool stuff. All of that stuff is on our website. And you know, we're really supporting a lot of local and Iowan artists during this digital season that we have planned for 2021. And I will say we don't have a reopen date right now, but we do have things on the calendar for September. So we're looking forward to welcoming folks back, and we'll have all those details becoming more clear as is the way of the pandemic. As time passes, we'll know more, and we're just keeping everybody updated. Thanks for having me on, Jessica.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Katie. We're going to play that info at the end of the episode too, in case you missed it when it was playing next to you. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
We are nearing the end of our hour. It went so fast today. I'm going to jump into gallery view really quick because I do want to give Christopher and Andrea a chance to talk about what, maybe just real quick, like what can people come to this summer? What's like something that's really excited for you that people can also look forward to attending either virtually or in person or some combination? I start with Christopher.
So there's a whole bunch going on this summer, and we're very excited to tell you guys about it. We are bringing some music to the Ped Mall. I know people have been dying to see some live entertainment. So look for stuff happening at the Weather Dance Fountain Stage and elsewhere in our community as well. I'm sure everyone's wondering about Block Party. That's probably the biggest question a lot of people have. We are planning it. It is set for July 24th. Very end of July on a Saturday. We are working with public health on that, so more details to come, so stay tuned for announcements. Taste of Iowa City is at the end of August. That's the first week students come back. And we also have Farm to Street happening on Thursday, August 19th. Tickets go on sale June 1st for that. And we're doing ways to keep it traditional with the community table, but also give the opportunity for people to buy tables of maybe 6. So lots of things, and I can post our calendar of events in the chat.
Yes, please do. Yes. And Andrea.
Sure. So I always get really excited. Music is not my intellectual home. So I always feel like every festival season I learn about new performers and things. So I get really excited to sort of be like, hey, what am I going to explore this summer? What's going to take me down to the record collector to pick some things up? So Really excited. July 2nd and 3rd will be our Jazz Fest. So we'll be on the Ped Mall Friday night and then out on the street as usual on our kind of signature corner of Clinton Street and Iowa Avenue on Saturday. And then July 30th and 31st, we'll be on the Ped Mall with the Soul and Blues Festival. And then August 13th through 15th will be the Iowa Arts Festival. So we will be taking up the same kind of footprint that we usually do, but things will be more spaced out than usual. And I'm super duper excited about Jennifer Wharton and Corey Wong for Jazz Fest. Really excited about the JC Brooks Band for Soul and Blues. And I can't tell you who I am excited about for the Arts Festival because we have not announced that lineup. That will be coming. Plan is to release on Tuesday, the 25th. Music on the Move is really exciting. Friday night concerts, like I said, July, the second week after Jazz Fest, we will start being in the Ped Mall again with our Friday night concert series. So lots of good stuff. The Awful Purdy's will be doing, I think, a virtual concert earlier than that, of which Katie is part. And a lot of good stuff, supporting local artists and local performers by doing this, and just really excited to bring more free programming back.
Yes.
And
yes.
Being in person. So it's going to be awesome. And I feel like my phrase for all of our programming right now is bangin'. We are going to be bangin' this summer because we will be back.
Awesome. So, did you throw your website into the chat?
I have not.
Or can you?
Yeah.
Please do. Yes. Okay. Oh, this hour went by so fast. Usually I ask for audience questions. If there's a burning question, I will open the floor up. My mother's here, and so I don't know if she has a question. I'm sure she's just excited to see Ramona and me together. Hi, Mom. So I'll give it a second. Any burning questions from the audience? No. Okay then. Well, remove spotlight. No, I want my spotlight. Thank you. So, okay. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you to all of the attendees who showed up today, whether here on Zoom or on Facebook. I really appreciate your support. And really all I want to do is, get this info out there because I want to help, just make what's happening visible. So go visit Summer of the Arts, visit Iowa City Downtown District, visit Ramona Muse Lambert, check out all of their stuff and see what makes sense for you to attend or support or whatever. On that note, we are done here for episode 4. I look forward to seeing you all next month in June when our topic is fashion and pride. Very, very excited for that show. So, as always, thank you for sharing some screen time.